So today I'm going to demonstrate how you use reading strategies when you're going to do an assignment. So this is called Honey Badgers. It's a reading assignment worth 25 marks. The directions say read the following passage and answer the questions that follow. Remember to read the questions first before you read. Refer to the text to check your answers when appropriate. So even before I look at the reading, I'm going to look at the questions. So there are both multiple choice and short answer questions. So one of them is which best expresses the main idea of the third paragraph. So the paragraphs are numbered. So there's paragraph 3. Which statement would the author most likely agree with? Which best defines the meaning of the word burrows as it's used in the third paragraph? So I can go to that third paragraph right now and find the word burrows, or I can press Control F and Control F and write the word burrows, and it finds it for me. So I can actually highlight that for when I'm reading later. Um, it also asks which best express the main idea of the last paragraph, which best describes one of the author's main purposes in writing the text, which statement would the author most likely disagree with, which person is most likely to be disturbed by a honey badger moving in next door, which animal is the honey badger afraid to attack, which is not one of the honey badger's strengths, and which title best expresses the main idea. Remember that often the title is where the main idea can be found. So those were the multiple choice. And then we have these 3 questions. How do cheetah kittens' silver manes help them to survive? Quote evidence from the text to support your response and explain your answer completely. What would be the safest thing to do if you encountered a honey badger? Cite evidence from the text. And what is the honey badger's greatest asset or quality? Quote evidence from the text. So now that I've read the questions, I know that this is something about an animal called a honey badger. It sounds like they're dangerous. It sounds like they have ways to survive. I don't know what a honey badger is. I imagine looking at the picture, there was a picture here, it kind of looks like a badger or a wolverine. Doesn't look very friendly. Okay, so now I'm ready to begin reading. So, what's fiercer than a lion but smaller than a beagle? The honey badger, one of the toughest animals in Africa and Western Asia. So, as I'm going through, I'm going to highlight things that I think are important. Honey badgers stand less than a foot high. They're only a couple feet long. They weigh just over 20 pounds, yet they have a reputation for toughness that is greater than their size. Some honey badgers will chase away lions and take their kills. I guess that goes to show you that size isn't the only thing that matters in a fight. Ooh, that's one fierce animal. Sometimes what I do when I'm reading this, for each paragraph, in the margins, I would handwrite what I think that passage was about. But it's a little bit difficult to do it when I'm typing it. So I'm going to put idea. So the main idea of this paragraph is that they're tough. So usually that's what I like to do. Second paragraph. So what makes the honey badger so tough? They have speed, stamina, and agility. Oh, agility. What does that mean? So I can highlight it, right mouse click, and go synonyms. So it means nimbleness, quickness, liveliness. Okay, so it's fast. But so do many animals. They aren't stronger than lions, so how do they stop them? The thing that sets the honey badger apart is their skin. Oh, there's something about their skin that we have to know in one of the questions, I think. So I'll highlight that. Arrows, spears, and bites from other animals can rarely pierce it. Some bullets can't even penetrate it. Well, that's interesting. Doesn't look like their skin's that tough. Hmm. Not only is their skin thick and tough, it's also loose. This allows them to twist it and turn to attack while another animal is gripping them. Oh, I think we need this one. The only safe grip one can get on a honey badger is on the back of their necks. So that one, it's all about tough skin. There. I think that's all it's about, that paragraph. The third one, honey badgers have long, sharp claws. These claws are good for attacking and even better for digging. Honey badgers are some of nature's most skilled diggers. They can dig a 9-foot tunnel into hard ground in about 10 minutes. They love to catch a meal by digging up the burrows of frogs, rodents, and cobras. They also use their digging skills to create their homes. They live in small chambers in the ground and defend them fiercely. They will attack horses, cows, and even water buffalo if they're foolish enough to poke around a honey badger's den. So the main idea here is their claws and their home. Okay, moving on. You don't get a reputation like the honey badger by running from danger. The honey badger is fearless and a tireless fighter. They will attack any creature that threatens them, man included. Because of the honey badger's reputation, most predators avoid them. Some animals use the honey badger's rep to their advantage. Adult cheetahs, oh, there's something about that. There's something about that in there. Have spotted coats, but their kittens have silver manes and look like honey badgers. So I guess the silver mane is this part, right? Some scientists believe their coloring tricks predators into avoiding them. Wouldn't you walk the other way if you saw a honey badger? Probably. So this one is about um, their reputation, I guess, as being fierce. You might be wondering if honey badgers are so tough, how did they get a name that makes them sound like a piece of candy? The answer makes sense. Since honey badgers have such thick skin, bee stings rarely harm them. So honey badgers love to raid beehives. I can't blame them. Who doesn't like free honey? Honey badgers chase after honey aggressively, so much so that beekeepers in Africa have to use electric fencing to hold them back. Well, that's interesting. There's nothing sweet about that. So this one is about their name and honey. Beekeepers aren't the only people who have grown to hate honey badgers. Honey badgers may be fun to read about, but they're nasty neighbors. They attack children or chickens, livestock, and some say children, though they usually leave people alone. But if a honey badger moves in your backyard, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. I mean, you're going to go and tangle with an animal that eats the bones of its prey, an animal with teeth strong enough to crunch through turtle shells, an animal that never tires, gives up, or backs down. Yeah, I wouldn't either. So that kind of answers that question, what would you do, right? You just back away. All right, let's see if we can do it. Which best expresses the main idea of the third paragraph? So we said the third paragraph was all about their claws and their home. So is it honey badgers have sharp claws? Honey badgers' digging skills assist them in many ways. Honey badgers use their claws to defend their homes. Honey badgers will defend their homes to the guest death against any animal. Well, this one has both claws and homes. I think that's probably the best one. It does talk about claws. It does talk about digging. It does talk about defending their homes, but this one, it does talk about their claws and their homes. Okay. Which statement would the author most likely agree with? What makes the honey badger so tough is their speed and strength? No, because he said it's the skin. Honey badgers are large in size and tireless, and they're not large in size, right? Like they're the size of a beagle. What makes honey badgers so tough is their thick, loose skin. That's probably it. Honey badgers got their name from the sweet taste of their meat. Well, they never said that. So it's got to be this one. Okay. Which best defines the meaning of the word burrows? So let's look at that word again. They love to catch a meal by digging up the burrows of frogs, rodents, and cobras. So if I substitute another word like home, then that would make sense. They love to catch a meal by digging up the homes of frogs, rodents, and cobras. So, which best defines the word? Lily pads? No. Holes or tunnels where animals live? A nest of or animal dwelling in a tree? Water, it's got to be this one. There we go. Which best expresses the main idea of the last paragraph? So we said with the last one, it's about, you know, do you go after them or not, right? What do you do? Honey badgers are a nuisance. Beekeepers and honey badgers do not get along well. Strong jaws. They eat chicken and livestock. Probably this one, right? Does it say they eat chicken and livestock? They attack chickens and livestock. But it talks here about how they're nasty neighbors. So I think that's the right one. Which best describes one of the author's main purposes in writing the text? To persuade us to protect them? No, they don't talk about that. To compare and contrast them with beagles and lions? No. To describe how they select their partners? No. This one. To explain why they're tough. Which statement would the author most likely disagree with? They like to raid beehives? Well, that's a check. They're not the biggest animals, but they may be the toughest? That's true. Honey badgers disguise their young to look like cheetah kittens? Oh, no, it's the other way around. Where's the cheetahs? Adult cheetahs have spotted coats, but their kittens have silver manes and look like honey badgers. So that one's not right. Honey badgers are not afraid to fight with humans, that's true. So all of those are true except for that one. Which person is most likely to be disturbed by a honey badger moving in next door? A beekeeper, a biologist, a bus driver, a salesman? Probably a beekeeper because they go after those bees. Which animal is the honey badger afraid to attack? Well, it's not afraid to attack anything. Which is not one of the honey badger's strengths? Well, it does have thick skin. Oh. Does it have powerful jaws and strong teeth? They have long, sharp claws. I don't know what that one. They do. They don't have poisonous claws. They do have a tireless fighting spirit. So it's either B or C. Well, I would think they're powerful jaws and strong teeth because doesn't it say at the end an animal with teeth strong enough to crunch through turtle shells? So it's got to be this poisonous claws thing. That's the only one here that isn't true. Which title best expresses the main idea? Honey badgers versus lions, Big Fight, one of nature's toughest scrappers, how they build and protect their homes. So I would think it's this one, right? Because we said the basic idea was all about how tough they were. All right, moving on. How did cheetah killers' silver manes help them to survive? Quote evidence from the text to support your response and explain your answer completely. So it's worth 5 points. That means I've got to make 5 points. So how do cheetahs, kittens, silver manes help them to survive? So I'm going to reread that again. Some animals use the honey badger's reputation to their advantage. Adult cheetahs have spotted coats, but their kittens have silver manes and look like honey badgers. Their coloring tricks predators into avoiding them. So I could say, cheetah kittens silver manes look like the mane of a honey badger. most animals are afraid of honey badgers. So anything that looks like it, they will avoid. And then we have to quote evidence from the text. So we can just copy that and paste it as a quote. So how did Cheetah Kit and Silvermane's help them to survive? So they survive by not encouraging predators. How's that? Does that look good? Yeah, I think so. Okay, what would be the safest thing to do if you encountered a honey badger? Cite evidence from the text. Well, it said here, if a honey badger moves in your backyard, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Are you going to tangle with an animal that eats the bones of its prey? An animal with teeth strong enough as an animal that never tires? Okay, so I'm going to just give this as a quote. So that's my reference from the text. Reference from the text just simply means a quote, right? So there's my quote. And now I just have to explain and make sure my answers. Now, I know if I use the words from the question in my answer, that's helpful. So I'd say the safest thing to do if I encountered a honey badger is to avoid it. They will be very dangerous and are not afraid of humans. They are, their skin can even avoid bullets. So there's not much a human can do to defend themselves except avoid badger. There we go. So what I've done here is I have answered the question and I use the quote from here. Plus in here I talked about their skin being able to avoid even bullets. Okay, last question. What's the honey badger's greatest asset or quality? So with this one, I have to decide that for myself. So I think it's probably their skin, maybe? Because I think, yeah, their skin is thick and tough. Bullets can't penetrate it. Okay, so I think I would use that one. Oops. So I think I'm just going to quote that. And remember, it's 5, so I've got to have those 5 points. There's the quote. And then I'm going to use the wording of the question in my answer. So I'll say, I think the honey badger's greatest asset or quality is their skin. It's super tough and loose. It protects them from just about anything, including bullets. Plus, they can use it to get away from predators. So there we go. So I've got, there's my answer. So I've answered the question and I've backed it up. So that's basically how you would use your reading strategies that we've just learned, um, how you would put them into practice. So I hope this has been helpful for you, and good luck on your reading of Telltale Heart.